So Brooklyn, New York, and I always like to zoom out so that anybody on the planet or the globe or out in outer space, whoever's watching this, can see where Brooklyn, New York is. So here's our globe here, and it's on the eastern side of the U.S., all the way pretty much. I mean, it is on the coast almost directly. Is there any, it does front to water. So you are on the eastern coast. Yeah.
Well, if you're to look in Brooklyn, Brooklyn's a peninsula. We are surrounded by water on three sides. No one thinks about that.
Yeah, totally. You can see it right there. I never knew that.
We have the Atlantic Ocean. We have the East River, which goes into the Narrows, which is borders the Verrazano Bridge, then around to like Jamaica Bay on the other side. So we do have beaches. We have Manhattan Beach. We have Coney Island. We have Brighton Beach, and we have Manhattan Beach. So we have 3 beaches. And well, I was about to say the beach in the Bronx because I'm still a Bronx girl in there somewhere. In Brooklyn, we have the 3 beaches in Brooklyn.
Everybody can see that Brooklyn is right there next to Manhattan, and you can see the Statue of Liberty is right there. So probably a lot of places in Brooklyn you can see that visually, Manhattan and the skyline and everything. And what's the current temperature and weather there right now?
Winter will go down to the teens as the lowest. We never get really below 0, but we'll get in the teens. And then summertime, we're about 90, some higher than 90 on certain days. So summer's hot, winters are cold. And we have all 4 seasons.
Then I'm going to read the quick facts here, the little Google blurb about Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a borough of New York City, coextensive with Kings County in the U.S. state of New York. Kings County is the most populous county in New York State, as well as the second most densely populated county in the United States. It is also New York City's most populous borough with 2,736,074 residents in 2020. That's very specific. They could have rounded that off, but you got like 2.7 million people. So. We all know New York City and the surrounding areas is the most densely populated area around. So tell us a little bit about what it's like there as far as the landscape goes. Is it pretty flat? Is it hilly? I'm guessing because you're pretty much on the ocean, it's kind of flat everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's flat. We do have our coastal flood zones, which is closer to the ocean coming in. But Park Slope actually is on a slope because it goes up to the park. So it's mostly flat. You have some, higher areas as you get further away from the water. The areas are higher, but I wouldn't call us hilly, except for our buildings. Our buildings give us our landscape.
And as far as like trees and vegetation and what stuff looks like, it's oak trees and pine trees and the typical kind of northeastern stuff that we would have in Pennsylvania or anywhere.
We have a lot of pine trees. We have oaks. We have, actually I was looking it up, Prospect Park have over 109 species of trees. So I think if you're looking for any type of tree, you could probably hit it in Prospect Park.
Nice. You had a very good answer for that one. Usually my tree question doesn't get much. People know if it's palm trees or not palm trees. They don't know much else. So yeah, that's cool. And then anything else to... What's that?
I do my research. I prepare.
And then in that park, are there like hiking trails or anything? If you wanted to go on a walk with shade. Oh, I guess you could get that on the roads too.
No, there's a shaded area. There is a trail that goes up that my son loves to go walk on, and I'm like petrified that he's walking in I'm like, don't go into the woods. And I'm one of those parents that looks at him on the map, you're not in the clearing, and he's like, oh my God, can you stop? And this is my 16-year-old, so yeah, I'm a little paranoid. But no, there's trails, but mostly Prospect Park. They have a really good biking and running track that goes around the park, and it's about a little over 3 miles. And there's a section there that is a steep hill. I remember back in the day, I used to rollerblade in the park when I was much younger. And so there's a steep hill going down, there's a steep hill going up. Going up that hill was a killer, but you had to really try to apply your brakes going down, even if you're biking. So we have one side is for bikes, because they zoom, and then you have one side for people who are walking and running. But yeah, so everyone at any time of the day, you can find someone running or biking in Prospect Park. And then there's a meadow area where people lay out. There's also the pavilion where they have shows. Like in the summer, they have concerts and they have different artists performing.
Sounds awesome. I think you should get the rollerblades out again someday.
Oh no. Just see, I wouldn't be able to walk, whereas now the only thing you could do is rollerblade. I wouldn't be able to walk after I used a rollerblade.
Maybe a bike. Maybe you could stretch and do the bike.
Maybe I could do a bike. And speaking of bikes, we have CitiBikes, what they call CitiBikes now. Practically every 3 or 4 blocks, there's a CitiBike. So they're bikes where they're electronically snapped in. You can get an app and you can become part of the program. So you could pick up a bike on one end of Prospect Park. You can literally ride it all the way down to Brooklyn Heights by the water, and you park it at another CitiBike spot. They don't come with helmets, but they come with a little basket. So if you're doing some groceries on your way home and you feel like you just want to grab a CitiBike and you brought your helmet, hopefully you're bringing your helmet, but...
Yeah, they seem to be having those things and a lot of big cities now have the bikes, and some have the little scooters, the motorized scooters. Those are super fun.
Those would be fun. I don't think we allow those here.
I wouldn't think so. It'd probably be dangerous in a place like that. But if anybody runs into those things, those will make your whole vacation. I get one the whole time and just get around like that if I could do that where I am. So what's the weather? If you're going to rent a bike or something, how many days a year could you be riding said bike around? Or if you, a lot of people probably live and walk places. Are you doing it in the rain a lot, or is it sunny a lot, or what's the weather like?
There's some bikers who no. So our rain comes in the typical season, which is spring, and we do get a lot of rain in the spring. So spring you could absolutely be riding. I think there are probably some diehards who, unless there's snow on the ground, they're riding. But pretty much all year round, except when there's snow, or except when, unfortunately, we get hit by some of the hurricanes as well. So unless we have some hurricane weather or some rainstorms, people are out.
And do you get snow there?
Our poor delivery people. Like we're big, or we order out a lot. So the delivery guys, the coolest thing is their handlebars is a glove. Like, you think about an oven mitt. So their handlebar is like an oven mitt. So they literally stick their hands into the oven mitt to drive around, because they're delivering in all weathers, and they have mopeds. And some people complain they're on the sidewalk, but for those of us who like to order and get our food, we're like happy our food is delivered.
That's fun. And I know the things you're talking about, they sell them for like mountain biking and stuff too. I just wear really good gloves, but that would probably be even better, especially if you're going fast on a moped or something. That would be almost a must. And then do you get snow? They're out in the snow delivering things on the mopeds?
They're out in the snow. And then they probably use their bikes more than the mopeds, but no, they're out in the snow too.
And then do they plow? Is all your infrastructure good for getting rid of the snow when it comes? I'm sure you're up here where you get it enough that they have salt trucks and plows and whatnot.
Yeah, the city is really good with that. I think a couple of years ago, one of our mayors got caught out there because he wasn't prepared for the snow. Of course, he caught hell for that. But no, we're usually good at preparing for snow and clearing the streets. I mean, they get to most of the major streets pretty quickly.
And it looks here, I'm on bestplaces.net, and it says that the snowfall is 24.9 inches average per year, and the United States is 27.8, so just like a couple inches less than the average in the U.S. Precipitation, it's sunny 226 days of the year, so that's more than central Pennsylvania. We're almost exactly half, so you're doing better than us. And it says the average high, it's highest in July, the average is about 85 degrees, which is the exact same as the U.S. average, and the average low in January is around 26.5. So right now, that's probably what you said. It's a little bit higher than that, but still around that, and that's what we are here. So pretty normal if you're comparing it to central Pennsylvania. And then anything else about the weather? Do you get sleet and freezing rain? We seem to, as things get less snow now and more freezing rain and sleet, which is almost worse, and they cancel things willy-nilly for that more than snow even.
I mean, since we're mostly, I guess we're gonna how we move around, but most people are walking or taking the bus or the subway. It is hard to shut this city down. There's not much that's happening where we're shutting schools. Schools are the last things to close. I mean, you kind of wish your kids would get a snow day. And my kid haven't had a snow day in years. Well, I mean, they were home last year, but before that, we didn't have. I can't remember the last time we had a snow day.
Yeah, I guess the only reason most of the schools around here now, nobody's coming from some place way out in the sticks with a half a mile long driveway where they can't get out, and the school bus drivers has to come from far away to do things. Almost every school district here probably has at least a couple people that applies to, and then they've got to cancel everything because we can't have those people dying trying to get here or whatever. So it makes sense that you would just, you better get your boots on and get out to school.
And we all have our boots. They have their boots, you have your hooded coat, you have your gloves, you're ready to go.